All right. Hello. Welcome to another edition of The Next Step, the podcast, the video podcast, whatever the heck I'm calling this little media project, where I'm trying to help employer branders, recruiters, recruiting leaders take the next step in AI because AI is so big and so daunting and so messy. I know we're all a little freaked out. As a reminder, this is not a sponsored podcast. I'm not taking money about any tools I'm mentioning or any tools that come up in this project. Nobody's decided they're going to spend money on little old me. So this is purely what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking. And today we have a special opportunity where usually I just go steal from a podcast and kind of grab their words and thanks Chad and Cheese and all the other people I've been stealing from. Today, instead of listening to the podcast of a real live recruiter, we're going to talk to a real live semi-tame recruiter. That's right. I've got the one and only Brian Fink, the author of Talk Talent to Me. And well, honestly, if you're not following him on LinkedIn, what the hell's your problem, folks? You really
What
need
are
to
you
be.
following on
I
LinkedIn? If you're
don't
not
know.
following LinkedIn, what are you doing on LinkedIn?
And now you know why Brian's here. So Brian and I talk, look, Brian and I have been friends for a long time. Let's be fair. Everyone knows Brian. This is silly to introduce him at all, but we were talking and I was wondering what he was doing in AI and he had some really interesting things to share. And I said, we got to do this on the podcast. So that's why I'm bringing Brian on. So rather than say, let's start with a challenge, Brian, I'm going to hand the microphone over to you and say, look, what are you using? Not from a super expensive AI recruiting AI tool, but from an off the shelf model, your open AIs, your Claudes, your Geminis, your notebooks, whatever. What are the tools you're using and what are you using them for?
Okay, so real quick, everybody drops Perplexity out of the conversation, and I got to stand up for
Fair.
Perplexity. I use Perplexity Pro. You get 5 free Perplexity Pro searches a day, or you can pay the $20 and do deep research and things of that nature. So I spend. That's one. Number two, James also knows my favorite 4-letter word that begins with an F is free. It wasn't think. I know that's what everybody was thinking, right?
It's right up there. It's a balancing act.
It's a balancing act. My favorite 4-letter word is free, right? So there are 2 free resources that I want to put out there immediately to your listeners and to your watchers, right? The first one is you.com. And I'm gonna drive here for a second. I'm gonna show
It's all yours.
what's up, party people. I'm gonna go. There we go. There we go. Entire screen. All right. Blah 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 blah. We got a little bit of
Here we go.
craziness. Okay.
Oh,
Can you
too much
see the
me. Too
can
much
you
me.
see can you see where it says I will focus on?
Yes.
Okay. I will focus on so this is where I set my focus for the day, and I
Nice.
haven't done that yet because James got me up early to do this. But what we're going to do is we are going to jump into you.com, not YouTube, you.com. Now, this is a website that allows you to look at multiple search engines, multiple data-driven GPTs simultaneously. I know it says the enterprise platform paid by your data, see how it works. I'm going to sign in. I'm going to go with Google. I'm going to go with my Brian Fink, not my PTA membership. But this is
That
you.com, right?
someone needs to release that video that just says, how do you kill all those old accounts when you go to sign in? I
Yeah,
have the same
I
challenge.
agree with that, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
As you can see, I'm not using the pro version. I'm using the free version, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, show me contact information because recruiters should be on the phone, including phone numbers for HRBPs. Okay. So what we're going to do here is that it does auto, which allows me to select the AI mode, or it will allow me to customize and look across the web for it. But what you need to understand is that you.com allows you to choose what paid version of Llama, of ChatGPT, of Perplexity, of Claude that you want to use, right? And you can also create agents freely to do this in the free methodology, right? So I'm going to hit the button. It's coming up with a workflow. It's thinking and it's finding me. Okay, are you looking for specific contact information for no, just general contact information. So that's going to make the search better for us.
Stick me in
And
the toolbar, man. Move that window over the toolbar. No one needs to go on the left side.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah.
there specific organizations. I'm going to say I'm looking for people at ADP.
Okay.
Um, all regions.
Okay.
Okay. So this was not able to give me that feedback information. I'm going to change from auto.
Hmm.
Okay. It doesn't always work. I'm going to go and grab this. I'm going to try here one more time. HRBPs at the Weather Channel. I'm going to be
Hmm.
more specific. And I'm going to, I have three free searches. Okay. Whoa. All right. So that's it. Um, there we go. It just gave me the Weather Channel's phone number. Let's take this same search
Hmm.
and let's drop it in Perplexity. Bam! Look at all that. It just sent
Wow.
through all these people that I would have to use Zoom Info, which is a paid tool. And I know
Hmm.
this is $20 a month. It's got Michelle Kilroy. It's got her phone number. It's
Oh,
got
wow.
general information. It's got the way to contact her. It even put things in a CSV for us to do this, right?
Wow.
Terry Nash. I don't know who these people are, right? Let's try this just one more time,
Hmm.
and we're going to do HRBPs. We're going to do a new search, HRBPs at um, Comcast, right? That's a
Hmm.
big company.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
okay, they're all the sources. It's going through Bing. Look at all these goodies that it's given
Wow.
us,
Yeah.
right? Free goodies. Now it's given us a spreadsheet, right?
Hmm.
Um, I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to say, find me contact information for HRBPs. Let's do something different. Let's do account executives
Hmm.
who sell SaaS
Mm.
in Atlanta, GA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the challenge, right? You're always kind of, if you're looking on LinkedIn or you're looking at Zoom Info, you're looking at these industry types, and they have very weird ways of grouping industries. This is a very different way of kind of pulling out the data you're looking for.
All right. So here's the deal. Like we've got Chloe, we've got Ryan, we've
Hmm.
got recruiting agencies that we could go to. Ask anything. Put this information in a CSV.
File. Yeah.
Okay, so it's bringing in Python programming to put this information in a CSV. I
So
don't know
it's
Python, James. I don't know if you know Python. There
nope.
we go.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Um, put this. I'm going to be more direct
Hmm.
in a CSV for me to call later, or no, for me to add to the copper. That's a CRM.
Hmm.
So this way it'll go through and it'll auto format for
Hmm.
me who I need to.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's amazing.
Fantastic. Right? All right. So we said Chat GPT, right? So
Hmm.
we were talking about that. Everybody uses chat. So what I'm going to use chat for specifically is I am going to put Boolean into a chat.
Really?
Yeah. So here's the thing is that people think that they're mutually exclusive
Hmm.
and that you get Boolean out of Chat GPT. Let's go site command LinkedIn.com because everybody loves LinkedIn. And
Hmm.
that what that's going to do is it's going to say, hey, Chat GPT, only bring me back results from LinkedIn.
I want
And
to
I'm going
point
to
out how
do
funny it is that you're using Google's terminology there, site colon URL. I think that's funny that it's kind of trickling down to other platforms. But go ahead.
right. Account manager, and I'm going to say that they have a Gmail address and that they live in Chicago. We're going to use Chicago right
Cool.
now.
Okay.
Chicken in the car can't go. Oh, it's going to tell me how to improve it.
Yeah. So what I like what's going on here for those of you who can't, want some dots connected, because Brian is the Uber source, one of the Uber sourcers. So he thinks in
Yeah,
sourcing. And so
you gotta
you got
include
to,
Dean DaCosta in the Uber
yeah. Oh
sourcer.
yeah. Shally. And there's a lot of
Shally, you
great,
gotta,
great,
yeah.
smart people. Yeah. So I don't want to call Brian the one, but yes, he is among the greats. But I will say it's interesting that by using Boolean, you're eliminating some of the flexibility and some of the impreciseness that comes with the standard prompt. And you're saying, no, I know what I want. And the more I know what I want, the more I can be focused on it. And the more it's specific, it's going to return that stuff.
All right, so wait, let's go one step further. Let's go back to Google for a second
Mm-hmm.
because and we're going to use the same search string. Is
Yep.
that now Google, and for those of you who are listening and not watching, the search string is site command linkedin.com/in, which
Mm-hmm.
says I only want to look at US based profiles inside of LinkedIn, and I put account managers in quotation marks. I open parentheses at gmail.com or Yahoo or Outlook.com, and all the domains are put in quotation marks, close parentheses. Now, what it's done is it's given me a list of people. It's given me Philip. Oh, and I put Chicago.
Yep.
It's given me Philip Bernston. It's given me Jack Kavanaugh. It's given me Jack's phone number. It's given me Cody. It's given me Lucas. All right, that's all cool and great, but this is where the shit gets, sorry, where the
That's
difference
all right.
gets
It's where all you
difficult,
want.
is that if I hit images, it's going to bring me back photos, and then I
Mm-hmm.
can do the naughty. And by the naughty, I mean that I can screen people based on their cosmetics, right? That's a no-no in recruiting, right?
Yeah.
Cosmetic
Yeah.
recruiting is a no-no. But to the left of all, there's AI mode.
Mm.
And AI mode gives me different results
Oh,
than the
interesting.
results that I get in regular Google.
And this is using Gemini for free.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So there are a lot of different ways to get at this and to do things the old way, or there are a lot of ways to do this the new way,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because the new way would also say, if I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to go show me, um, show me profiles of leaders in consumer packaging. Um, okay, try new AI mode. I'm going to do that. Thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much. Wow. It went through 63 different sites. It pulled all this together.
Mm-hmm.
It gave me all the links. It gave me everything from McKinsey and Company and leaders in the packaging world. It even gave me YouTube videos and what have you. This is not normal for how we're going to do how we did search.
Mm-hmm.
This is the new normal of how we can do search in the future by using that contextual portion.
Okay.
I'm going to do one other thing is I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to say, show me profiles of female leaders in
Mm.
consumer packaging. And I'm using that AI mode.
And it's grinding through and it's looking at 56 sites and it comes
Women
back
we
with,
admire,
wow,
women in packaging, 31 female CEOs, right? Like these are
wow.
all different contextual components that we can go through and that we can have the conversation with or around.
Okay, so I love that you dive straight into doing the stuff, and you are using exactly what what we talk about is off the shelf stuff and low cost and free tools here. But take a step back. How is this different? I'm not a sorcerer, so I don't know how you live your life. How is this different than say how your world looked a year ago, both in tool sets and processes, and maybe even most importantly, spend?
Okay, so in terms of processes, uh, I didn't show off one search engine
Mm-hmm.
or one GPT. I keep kind of use that term interchangeably.
Yep.
But one of the things that it changed for me was the fact that I could do things like go to Perplexity and say, great, you found all this contact information, put it in a CSV file for me.
Yep.
If you think about that, that's faster than scraping a
Yeah.
website of using free data scraper, right? So this is an instance whereby you can really engage faster at scale and find that contact information. You can also now find that contact information and say, test these emails prior to adding them to the CSV,
Mm.
and it'll ping and let you know which ones are good and bad, and you're not playing a game like
Wow.
you would with Zoom Info.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting about Zoom Info. Now, this is where I'm going to make sure that Zoom Info never sponsors James' podcast. Is if I go
And we were
to,
in talks, let's be fair.
okay, if we go to site command zoominfo.com and I put in account executives. No, James, give me a title. Give me a title. Plumber.
No, let's do let's do TA leaders.
Okay, so I'm going to do talent acquisition, and I'm going to do in San Bernardino. I don't know if I spelled. I'm not going. I'm going to do San
Yeah.
Francisco because I
Yeah.
can't spell Bernardino, and apparently I can't spell Cisco either.
Do Diego. All right. No,
Cisco.
you're still wrong.
Okay, it's Diego. We're looking for people in San Diego.
There's nothing as
Um,
exciting as watching people type D. Gary, there you go. All right, we got Diego.
I was like, my name is Brian. I'm a recruiter. I
Yeah.
did not see the Putnam County spelling bee. All right,
Yeah. Yeah. No one hired us for our math or spelling skills. Let's be fair.
all right. Do you see that it just gave me
Oh, wow.
all these people, and it gave me all these people, and I just did a looky loo around the corner. I don't have a Zoom Info license, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you see my extensions up here. I have Momentum. I have Grammarly. I have no lookups except
Mm-hmm.
for Surf. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like, yeah,
Yes.
those
Wow.
things I did not do. And James, I did not know that we were going to look for talent acquisition professionals. Now,
Yeah. Yeah.
real quick, I want to jump over to so how's it changed my research?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen how it's changed it, but what fundamentally stayed the same is something that Glenn Cathy told me like 15 years ago. Okay, is that if you're gonna use a bright shiny tool,
Mm-hmm.
don't use every bright shiny tool. Pick
Yes.
three and know those three better than anybody, right?
Yeah.
Like how
Yeah.
they work inside out and what have you. I really took that to heart. Glenn, if you're listening, thank you. If you're not listening, I still say thank you. Um, the reality of it is that jumping between Chat GPT or Google or this one or that one,
Mm-hmm.
I give this warning to recruiters: you are going to burn yourself out. Pick one and figure out what prompts work in that specific engine
Yeah.
rather than jumping from one engine to another.
I think it's really interesting how you started this off by jumping into Perplexity and effectively saying use this particular, or was it you.com, where you use this particular LLM, and what we're so used to saying, okay, I need to use ChatGPT, so I guess I'm going to go to ChatGPT. It's just an engine that we can plug stuff into and pull stuff out of. It's the way you grind the machinery a bit, and you can apply it lots of different places. There's a lot of different tools, and I think that's going to be more common, where if you understand how that LLM, how, whether you're a Claude or a ChatGPT person or whatever it is, if you get it, you can start plugging that into other things, and suddenly you're leveling up very, very quickly.
Now, real quick, the other website that I would tell you to check out is Chatbot Arena.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is you can do a chat GPT if you want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we could do this chat base and we could find out what this works and how it's priced and things of that nature. Or what we can do is we can go to Chatbot Arena, we can go to LM Arena, and what we can do is we can type in show me the money,
So prompt.
show me the money in recruiting, question mark, what is the most profitable sector to recruit for, and what do you think of Benjamin Mina, who's a friend, right? He's a friend of James and I, and his ability, this is just all over the place,
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
ability to recruit top cleared professionals. Okay, totally random set of
Yeah.
things that we could
Yeah.
have not like, but this is me and James, right? And this is
Mm-hmm.
why you're going to come see us at RecFest. Um, All right. What I'm going to do is I'm
Mhm,
going to hit this. Okay. Yeah. User privacy. Got it. So forth and so on. Is it's going to bring up two chatbots and it's going to have them battle and it's going to give us the best answer, right?
mhm, mhm. And it's not telling you which chatbots it's using. It's got assistant A and assistant B. So it's kind of anonymizing it, and you're going to vote which you prefer so you can understand in a blind taste test, so to speak, which you
Oh,
should
it's the
be.
Pepsi challenge. It's the
Yeah.
Pepsi challenge,
Yeah.
right?
This is super cool.
Overall assessment, Benjamin Minna is the top recruiter in the cleared professional space. Okay, Ben, I know you're going with assistant A, right?
Hmm.
Assistant B actually says technology, most profitable is technology. I would argue that's not accurate. Executive search and healthcare, the cleared governance space, financial services. Regarding Benjamin Minna, Mina, I need to be careful about making any claims about individual recruiters. Left is better. Left is
Yep.
better.
Yep.
Who was on the left? Who was on the right?
Claude versus
One
Command.
is Claude Sonnet was on the right, and something called
Yeah. I never heard of that one.
Command A.
Yeah.
I don't know that one, right?
Yeah.
Um, so who's on the leaderboard? Who's the best right now?
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
for text, it's Gemini. It's this uh,
That's O3.
OpenAI O3. It's the Gemini preview. Claude Sonnet, Gemini, DeepSeek down at the bottom, Grok down at the bottom. Um,
Yeah. That's really cool.
Vision or a visual search. You've got Gemini. General search, you've got Gemini. Should make the people at Google pretty happy today.
Yeah.
Gemini's like rocking out the top of the board for web dev.
And
For
this board's going to move a lot because we're releasing new versions of this thing every couple of weeks, and so these leaderboards are going to shift very quickly. But this is a fascinating way to kind of say, hey, what's available right now? It really does seem like ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini really kind of have ownership and a lock on what is AI, and this really unlocks the idea that there's a lot of stuff out there, and some of them are hyper focused, and they're really interesting use cases on how to use that stuff. This is super cool. And by the way, this tool is absolutely free, which is a great way of playing around.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. This is free. Like this is how I found Manus. Let me jump over to Manus just for a quick second.
Yeah.
Manus.im.
Mm-hmm.
I like Manus, except sometimes. Okay, you just said hello, Brian Fink, right?
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
already have an account. Like you knew it was me. Don't don't do that. Don't do that thing. Don't do that thing. Sign in.
You got it. Yeah. It's going to,
No, 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 no.
you got a Gmail
Uh,
and sign in with
I
Google.
don't know about signing with Google. Okay, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know my password.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, I don't keep up with it. Okay, double credits promotion.
Blah, blah, blah,
Subscribe
blah.
now. I don't care. All
Yeah.
right. So, what can you do for me today is show me profiles. As you can see, I did SAP analysts a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Show me profiles of um, employer, brand,
Mm-mm.
leaders in the Netherlands. Okay, so Manus, I will let you know, is a little slow, but it's super accurate, right?
Mm.
Employer brand leaders in the Netherlands. It corrected my all right, so it's
So
thinking.
while it's thinking, let me kind of point out what I think I'm seeing here is that Brian, yes, you are a very experienced sorcerer and you can think in Boolean ways that most people would never even attempt. You aren't really throwing a lot of deep Boolean here. What you're doing is asking some very natural language prompts and questions and getting high level professional sourcing data back. And so, what this AI is effectively doing is turning any recruiter into a really qualified sourcer. Suddenly, it's a toolkit they can add to their daily routine, like almost instantly and for almost free.
Well, and for almost free. And Manus allows you to do 10,000 searches before it charges you.
Yowza.
Okay, so let's just say that we did 10 searches a day with Manus. That means that you're on Manus for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only thing that really annoys me about Manus is it is slow, but it's thorough, and you can see how
Mm-hmm.
slow it is because of the time that it's taking. Currently up to a minute, and then the next thing it's going to say, and Jim Stroud and I joke about this. is that it'll say, do you want to turn this into a website or a PowerPoint presentation? And
Hmm.
I'm like, why would I want to do that? Like, why would I, in navigating to employer branding college website to find more leaders?
Wow,
Who
it's
knew there
going
was an
deep.
employer branding college website? I
I
didn't
did.
know that.
I did.
Okay. So, but, but
No,
this
but this is
is,
great. This is great. This is doing all the heavy lifting. And while you're complaining it's slow, imagine how long it would take me to go to each one of the one to search for the sites to find which sites are the best, then to dive into those. Like this is insanely time saving. And here it's coming out with it's still thinking, but it's really
well,
putting
no,
together
so,
stuff.
but you think about it from the point of executive search, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the things that worries me about the hollowing out of recruiting
Mm-hmm.
is that junior recruiters by and large used to say, I need to do more research before I get on the phone. I need to
Mm-hmm.
find this out, right? Now there's no reason to not get on the phone because
Yeah.
this research, it's going to put this together. It's going to let you know who your employer branding leaders are. It's going to tell you their LinkedIn profile. You're going to have the opportunity to reach out to them, and you're going to be able to do it at scale,
Yeah.
right? Um,
One of the things that I play with for my own time is I use a tool called Appify, which is a scraping tool. And I can say, hey, here's a LinkedIn profile for someone I want to talk to. Go grab their last 100 LinkedIn posts. It grabs it and I paste it into a Claude or a ChatGPT and say, hey, help me come up with 3 topics that most people would never think to talk about that we know this person might be interested in. Suddenly it's surfacing these inferred ideas and okay, well if they're talking like this that must mean they care about X, Y, Z, or they keep bringing back this topic, this might be the thing they care about. Like, and this is a thing that takes literally a minute to do, and suddenly I can do an hour's worth of research on this person in 60 to 120 seconds, and suddenly I can write a subject line that they are way more likely to open.
all right. And so about that opening, I want to turn back to the screen here. Manus has now said in a multi-agentic fashion,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I need your LinkedIn access. Will you give me your LinkedIn credentials so that
Nice.
I can go out to LinkedIn and find these people for you, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty
that's smart.
yeah, I mean, that's like N8N or Clay or
Mm-hmm.
using one of those which are paid tools, which is one
Yep.
of the reasons why I didn't mention them because
Yep.
I like a free is for me.
And N8N is a deep rabbit hole. Like you need a little, not quite a coding level ability, but it is not that easy to dive into. And I'm not going to kind of suggest that. Like I like Make. I know Zapier is pretty good. N8N is really really good, but it does require some technical skill.
Yeah, absolutely does require some technical skills. So James, as we kind of
Let's
jump
wrap things up.
here, we've had a great conversation. What else can I tell your team about using AI in the age of diminishing marginal returns from traditional sourcing?
Yeah, I think give me your just kind of to wrap this up. Give me your overview. Let if as these tools allow for the democratization of recruiting and sourcing and all this stuff, suddenly the deeply alchemistic level skills of the I know 17 levels of Boolean and you don't kind of skills are now widely available. Every recruiter is going to be emailing everybody with the same stuff. And now everybody can find an email address. Now everybody can find a phone number. Does that mean the next level of recruiting skill comes at the how do I engage someone where I don't sound like everybody else? If everybody's accessible through AI, is that the next stage, or do you have another kind of a perspective on that?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is as recruiting become as it becomes easier to find contact information, recruiters have to become more creative in their outreach.
100%.
You've James, DMARC, and you can probably explain it much better than I can from an email marketing perspective. But what I understand DMARC is that if I blacklist my domain because I send the same 100 messages
Mm-hmm.
to 100 developers, then I'm in no-no land. Like they're not going to get my message. It's going to automatically go to spam.
Yep.
But if you have the opportunity to craft a message and say, James, happy Thursday. Noticed the work that you do at Employer Brand Labs. That's the kind of either manual activity you're going to have to engage in, or you're going to have to get a tool like Hire Easy Agent, or you're going to have to use a tool like Pen.com to be able to craft those messages. And those are paid tools.
Yep.
To craft those messages at scale so that you can market to candidates in a deliberately authentic or faux authentic fashion to
Hmm.
beat those spam filters and get around the DMARC, the DMARC
Yeah, the gatekeeping.
gatekeeper
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Gmail.
I think that's the thing that, it's funny how AI is a tool that makes it seem like you can scale anything, but you suddenly start to realize that the value of scaling it may not be all that's cracked up to be. And that, in fact, trying to scale something like this actually undercuts your ability to reach the people you really want to reach. Yes, you could reach 1,000 candidates, but maybe you really only need to talk to two. And I think
Yeah,
that
So,
mentality is super, super.
so
It's hard to fight that with AI.
so there was a conversation that I used to have with Alan Hinshaw. Alan, awesome leader, great leader, is that uh, I had a 30% response rate on my messages, right? When I was at
That's
AWS. Now
amazing.
we know
That's amazing.
AWS is a great brand, great organization, great people. Got to work with a lot of stellar folks there, right? Um, the reality of it is that if I send out 100 messages and 33% of those people respond affirmatively,
Hmm.
and I'm going to have a 30-minute conversation with each one of them,
Yeah, your whole week's done.
dude, when do I have time to manage existing candidates and maintain those relationships, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So are we sending out a message to 100 people and we're praying that 20% of them get back to us?
Or five.
No,
Yeah.
we don't want 20. Oh, I got balloons going on. What's going on with my hand? You can tell that I'm on a Mac, right?
Yeah,
Like I made
yeah,
a hand gesture for those of you who are listening, Brian just fired off a bunch of balloons into the sky.
yeah.
Um, but it goes back to there are a lot more things to consider. I wrote a post and I got a bunch of crap for it on Saturday about the fact that when you use AI, you're committing mental liposuction. I think that was the takeaway, right? Is that don't just because you can do something doesn't mean you need to do it. You need to think through it.
100%.
Like James, you turned me on to strategy is bullshit, right?
No, oh, no
um
bullshit. No bullshit
no
strategy.
no bullshit
Hold
strategy,
on, hold
right?
on. I
And
actually happen to. Hey, Alex, you don't watch this, but hey, I love you.
we love your book. We love your book.
Yes,
I listen to it like probably
fantastic.
once every 3 weeks.
It's
um you need to have a methodology as to how you're going to contact people, what you're going to do when they say yes, and ultimately how many people you're going to contact. I mean,
yeah.
just because you have the phone number, you should call, but people are going to hide behind email, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly, exactly. Brian, you were clearly a born sorcerer and recruiter. If they got to pick up the phone, Brian, this has been a great conversation. I can't imagine people who listen to this didn't get a lot of ideas. Even if they don't think of themselves as sorcerers, there's a lot of thinking. To me, I don't feel like I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers, but if we can kind of show some of the interesting work, it'll spark ideas in people when they can start to use these tools on their own.
hey, James, real
Yeah,
quick, if I can plug one thing.
please.
Every Friday afternoon from 12 p.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, I do office hours. I do 30-minute intervals for free
Nice.
with recruiters about the problems that they're having. If you want to call it recruiter therapy, call it recruiter therapy. If you want to call it like deep diving into their Boolean and figuring out what that works, I do that free. I think it makes me a better recruiter. I think it makes me a better sourcer. I don't always expect to be looking for plumbers on Facebook, but sometimes that happens. That's the only plug that I'd put out there. I appreciate you mentioning Talk Tech to me. And thanks for having me on, James. As always, I appreciate it. I can't wait to party with you soon.
We'll see you at RecFest. Brian, thanks so much for being here. I hope everybody gets a chance to watch the whole thing. Check out Brian. Go find his LinkedIn. Go hang out at his office hours, his recruiter therapy. He is certainly a wonderful person to know. Thanks so much for listening. As always, I will see you next week. If you've got your own challenge, you're like, can AI help? Let me know. Find me on LinkedIn, ping me, just send me a message. I would love to use that as a challenge. We'll see what the future holds here. If we'll have more guests, I'd love to have more guests. I have a couple people in mind I've already reached out to, but Brian is our initial guest. So thanks so much, Brian, for being here. And we will see you all next week on The Next Step. Later, everybody.